Hello, welcome to another edition of Next Generation Network. What a time we're having at the Free Pentecostal Church of God Camp meeting. This is year 2018, our 79th annual. Been privileged to meet with a lot of ministers, and we're going to introduce you today to Minister Jay. My first time getting to meet him, and it'll be the first time for a lot of you as well. We'd like to welcome Minister Jay. How are you doing?
All right, Brother Brian.
Welcome to Next Generation Network. So, tell us a little bit about you, where you're at, where you're from, what you're doing currently in ministry.
I'm right now at a church called Holy Hill Zion, like dwelling place out of Honolulu, Hawaii, on the west side of Oahu.
Okay.
And I'm there. I'm doing I'm under Bishop Sawala Tupua, our senior pastor. In that church, I'm overseeing the deacons, the ushers, the greeters. Also, I'm head of the new convert class that we run there, and also the men's ministry.
Awesome, awesome. So you got a lot of irons.
A lot of stuff on my plate.
A lot of irons in the fire, a lot of stuff on your plate. So, and like I said, I'm excited to get to meet you and dig into your life. So tell me a little bit about you. Was you born and raised in a Christian home?
No. I was not born in a Christian home. I was born in Honolulu, of course, in Hawaii, but not as a Christian. I was very far from that, Brian.
Really?
Far from that.
So when did you come to know Christ?
Actually, it was like 7 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
So if you don't mind me asking, what age was that?
God had to come and remove me from where I was.
Really?
I was in something very bad, very dark. I had a lot of things in my life. I was a business owner for 3 companies.
Wow.
And God had to remove all of that so I could see Him. But before that, I never knew God. You know, the only thing I knew of God was maybe a few church hymns. You know, we come from a place where there's a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs in your family, you know, generational.
Right.
Yeah. So the only thing we was passed down was music.
Okay.
So a lot of music the music that we had was a lot of church music. It was so funny. We didn't know Jesus, but we knew His music.
Wow.
So there was nights where we drank, and even before my generation, my grandparents drank. And they used to always end the night with Christian music.
Wow.
In that sinful lifestyle that we was living.
And you probably never knew at the time that was odd. Or did you know?
No, I never knew that was odd. I thought that was natural.
I mean, because like people are probably watching right now and they're like, how strange, right? You're drinking and singing Amazing Grace at the same time.
It's true. It's true. We even sing it in Hawaii.
Yeah. And it's amazing to me, and getting to host this show as one of the hosts to find different things out about cultures of man. But that is, I don't guess I've heard that before. So, and I really appreciate you sharing that. Tell me about, we'll dig more in, but tell me about your salvation experience, if you don't mind.
Like I said, I had 3 businesses. It was a trucking company. I ran and overseen about 40 trucks, semi-tractor trailers, and was in construction. I also owned a quarry that made aggregate. I also owned a excavation construction company that we did subdivisions. We did a lot of sewer, a lot of water lining, and a lot of drain piping, and a lot of house pads. You know, we did all of that stuff, and I had my business for a while. And just, you know, one day I found out it was missing a lot of money. Someone was running my books from 2004 to 2009. Wow. So we didn't actually catch that person to 2009. So throughout that whole time, we was being, you know, seen.
Wow.
You know, so I didn't know God, like I said at that time, yeah. And the only thing I knew was finance.
Yeah.
And if you want to touch my money, something bad is going to happen to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't know Jesus, so I took a few friends over to her house after we removed my bookwork away from her office, and I had to hire a forensic accountant to go through my books. So we got that into the detective's hands, and they went through it, and they told me a little bit on what had happened, and it was confirmed that that person was touching my books. So I got upset.
Yep.
And I took a few men with me, and we went to their home. They live in a 2-story home, and we threw the husband out the second floor window.
Wow.
And I tried to shoot them, and I tried to kill them.
Wow.
You know, I tried to kill them, and something happened that night, you know. Today I'm saved, and I believe God was in the whole thing,
Yeah.
in the whole midst, yeah. Because they wasn't saved. I wasn't saved. Somebody gonna die to them.
Right.
But the Lord didn't let that happen. The gun didn't go off. The friend that I bought with me also grabbed the gun and tried to fire the gun, and it didn't go off.
Wow.
So we ended up leaving, and I was facing a rap of attempted murder charges, you know. And I think maybe a couple of weeks down the road, I was getting more upset, and I was indulging in cocaine. Was a habit of mine, and I was indulging into cocaine and drinking, and you know something, Brother Brian. Every night we talk about what we're gonna do to the person, and I had some friends that would give me advices like, don't just kill the husband and the wife. Kill the daughter, kill the son, kill the people that might come after your children. That's the type of advices I was having from these people.
Man.
And I never have God in my life.
Right. And that's all you know.
That's all I know is violence. I made the company. That's mine.
Right.
You know, that's the way I felt. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So maybe a few days later, I guess the trucks that I owned, the newer equipment that I owned was getting repossessed because of what happened. We was missing some money. And there was one time that me and my wife was driving on a road, and someone called us and told us that some of the trucks was leaving my yard. And I don't usually do crazy things with my wife in the car with me, but that day, you know, they would just had the best of me. And we chased those trucks down, and I tried to shoot the trucks on the road. And get this, Brian, that wasn't, you know, the person that was taking the truck, he wasn't a part of taking my money, but I felt that, you know, somebody took something from me, and now somebody's taking it again.
Right.
So somebody gonna pay for this, you know. And then again, God had his hands in that, which I didn't know at that time.
Right.
Nobody got shot, nobody died.
And you tried.
You know, but right, and that day when we was chasing those trucks down, me and my wife was screaming. I was sharing this another pastor a few nights ago, and I remember my wife screaming in the car. And she screamed a scream that I never did hear in my life. Today I hear it a lot. I hear it in a church. I hear people waiting when they need help. That's what I was hearing that day. I never heard a cry like that till I got saved. Wow. And my wife didn't know God, and she was waiting in that car. And today I know she was calling after the Lord, which me and her didn't know at that time.
Right.
You know. So I remember after all of that went down that day, and you know, the police officers came, and you know, that whole mess and stuff. I remember going home, and my son stood outside of my home because he knew what happened already. And I remember getting out of the car with my gun in my hand, and I told my son, let's go upstairs, I need to talk to you. And he was a young man at the time. And I remember these words that I told him, and I told him, son, can you take care of your mom and your sister, your little sister? He was like maybe 22 at the time. And he stood there looking at me. He just looked at me, and he said, Dad, I can't take care of them. I can't take care of them. I told him, if you can, I'm going to finish the job. I'm going to go and take these people out, you know. That's the only way I could deal with that, right? You know, and I remember I think that was like a Thursday or something, and then I had people in my family who were saved. And they were trying to pray for us, and each time they tried to come in my house, they pray for me because they're hearing all these things that's happening, right? And they tried to come and pray, and I kept telling them, get out of my home. I don't want to hear that Jesus stuff. Get out of my home, you know. And they were very, you know, consistent in trying to sow a seed in me and trying to tell me about Jesus. And I kept telling them, take that out. Days went by, they tried again. I told them, take it out. It was one night when me and my friend was in the back of my yard, and I had a bar in the back of my yard, and we were drinking, and we was doing a lot of cocaine that night, and it was a Saturday night, and I remember we didn't go to bed. About 5:30, I woke up my wife and told my wife if she wanted to go to church, and she looked at me, and I remember, she looked at me like, church, are you crazy? So I went back outside and had a few more drinks and had a few more lines with cocaine, and went back in there, and maybe 2 hours later, like 7 o'clock, and woke her back up. And she got up, and she told me, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm serious. I said, let's go to church. As high as I was that morning, as drunk as I was that morning. And we went to the church that I'm in right now, and we drove up to the church. I didn't know the pastors. I only knew a cousin of mine who tried to pray for me in my home. That's all I knew. I remember Brother Brian walking into that church. I remember telling God this. I didn't know I was speaking to him at the time, but in my mind I was saying, if you're not real, if you're real, you got to show me something. Because if I leave this place, I ain't never coming back. That's what I was feeling at the time, And I was high, man. So I remember walking inside, and I never knew how church ran, it operated. Right. So I remember standing in the back of the pew, and my cousin seen me. She got excited. And she grabbed me, and she tried to pull me to the altar, because praise and worship was going on, and I was like, don't grab me, grab my wife. Mm-hmm. But she persisted me, she tried to take me. So I went, and I remember going up to the altar, and the worship song was going, and, the first lady of the church, I remember her turning to me and grabbing my hands and saying, brother, can I pray for you? And I remember looking at her and saying, oh, if you want to, it's up to you, right? I don't know how church operates, right? So she grabs my hand and she looks at me and she started praying for me, and she started to pray on things that was happening in my life, Leave that woman alone, leave her husband alone, leave her family alone. And no idea. I thought she did. So I started looking at my cousin like, what did you tell this lady? But then she started seeing things. Brother Brian, even though today as a minister that I am, there's only certain things in my life that I talk to God about. I don't even tell my wife about things. Mm-hmm. Certain things that it's just between me and God, man. I still have things in my life that I just talk to God about. But First Lady was telling me things that was going on in my life that only God knew. Only I knew at the time. I never knew God, but only I knew. Right. And I looked at her, and I dropped to my knees, man. Dropped to my knees and cried like a baby. As high as I was, snorting all the cocaine that night and drinking all the beer. And if nobody believes me, I'm talking to you, if nobody believes me that you can't get sober, a minute,
thank God.
Experience. It happens. Hallelujah.
Praise God.
So I got sober that instant, on my knees, crying. The Lord purged everything out of me right on that altar, man. I cried. I stood on that altar. The word was still going on, and I stayed on the altar. Wow. Face down. Preacher preaching. I'm still on the altar. God is dealing with me. I walked out of that church that day. I walked out of that church, me and my family, me and my wife, my daughter. And I never went back to drugs. I never went back to one beer. I smoked maybe 2.5 packs a day of cigarettes. Didn't touch that since. Wow. That day, the Lord delivered me from everything that the world has to offer.
Wow.
Now, you still have time about praying?
Oh, we had all the time you need.
No, when we went back, this was a Sunday, right? So, we got excited, and the cousin of mine who tried to come in my house and pray. Now I'm allowing her to come in, right? Yeah. So she comes in, so the whole week maybe, we're fellowshipping and stuff, and I'm getting excited on, this new thing called God, And I knew something happened that day on the altar. There was something that never happened in my life. You know that feeling, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know that feeling when the Lord touches you.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. I remember going back to church that Wednesday. I And I still felt the Holy Ghost that day. I remember going back to the church that next Sunday. Now the preacher was preaching. Can I use it for him?
Oh, yeah.
I remember the preacher was preaching. My senior pastor today, and he was preaching that if your life is full like this bottled water is full of water, then God can come into your life. Now I still had my business. I still had 3 of my companies back then. Now I had a little less employees, but I still had my businesses. And if you have everything in your life that is full, like this bottled water, you gotta empty some of it out. And he did the illustration. And then he said, now God can move this much in your life, you know. But if you empty more out in your life, like down to here, then God can fill you up. But if you take everything out of your life, everything, and just empty the bottle out, then God can come into your whole life. So I took that to heart that Sunday. And I was like, wow, I was blown away with what the Lord was showing me. So I went to, me and my wife spoke that Sunday night, and I remember going to work that Monday morning, and I called my man, I think it was like 4:30 in the morning, and I called him up and told him to meet me at the yard in the morning, where they all grab the trucks from. I remember telling them that morning that, I know it's very hard for me, even for me to speak about it right now. A lot of them worked for me for a while. They bought houses from me, they bought cars from me, you know, they relied on me. It was hard for me to tell them that this week we're giving up the company. Monday. I want everything out of my life, like the preacher was talking about. I want it empty, man. I had rigs, I had excavators, dozer, I had a lot of stuff, just stuff, man. You know. And I looked at my man, and I had a couple of lowboy trucks, if you know what a lowboy is. And I had them load up some of the equipment that belongs to me, not the bank, but that belongs to me, and scrap it. Take it to the scrapyard, man. Take it out of my life. And so the drivers, you know, they talk to other truck drivers, and you know, it's a small island, right? So people got to know what was going on that morning. So everybody was calling my wife because my phone was down. I didn't want to answer nobody going through this thing, right? So my wife got in touch with me, and she said, hey, people want to buy some of your equipment. This one particular guy, I remember, she said, he wants to buy your loader. I had to come once a loader. He wants to buy your loader Friday, he can get the money. This was Monday. Wow. I remember telling her this. And I wasn't yet seasoned in the law, but I remember telling her this. I remember telling her, God didn't save me Friday. God saved me today. I want that thing out of my life today. Anything that is keeping me away from God, you got to remove it out of your lives. Anything. It doesn't matter what. My experience is my equipment, my company, my trucking. Some things might even be your girlfriend. Something might even be your boyfriend. Some things might even be your job. They're keeping you away from Sunday service, keeping you away from Wednesday service. You got to remove that and get closer to God. But you got to understand you have a choice to do that. Like I had a choice. Yeah. I had a choice to remove everything out of my life. I wanted to know who saved me that day on that altar. Who was it that touched me, Brother Frank? Wow. Who was it that touched me that day? I needed to know him quickly. Even though I was saved only 7 years now. And I don't call myself being like a seasoned preacher. I'm just sharing this because this is my testimony and how the Lord brought me from. But I believe that the Lord raised me up so much because I wanted to know how good he was. You know, and getting to know him is not just Sundays and Wednesdays now, guys. It's every day. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that you get to know him.
Yes, sir.
Hallelujah.
I'll tell you what, I feel the Lord in here.
Hallelujah.
This is wonderful. So, we've already got through all your hard times and everything you faced and salvation. It's been saved 7 years, and that's, you know, and if you'd have looked back before that, you'd have never thought you'd be here today, ever.
No.
I mean, if we talked to you 10 years ago in the lifestyle you was living, and hey, you're going to be in Cincinnati in a camp meeting, talking on a show about the goodness of God, you said you're
crazy.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Now these 7 years have gone by.
Yes, sir.
And tell us about some things, and you touched on some, but Tell us about some things that's happened in your life and victories you've had in these last 7 years and things God's done for you that you know there's no other explanation but it was the hand of God.
One of the most touching things that happened in my life was the birth of my grandchildren. You know, at the conference here tonight, people that's watching out there, preacher talked about your inheritance. Amen. To me, back in Hawaii, inheritance is family. If I chose the path that I was on and not God's plan, and I chose my plan, I wouldn't have the inheritance I have today. The greatest inheritance is God, Jesus, salvation. My children, I wouldn't be able to see them. My grandchildren, I wouldn't have been able to meet them. To me, they're a big blessing to me because God to be fruitful. That's my fruits. That's my fruits. I have something great that I can pass on to them. But I could not pass it on to them if I ended up in prison for life. I wouldn't be able to pass it on to them. I believe if I didn't get in there like I did quickly with the Lord, would the Lord have saved my wife? Would my wife have turned to the church or turned to God if I was in prison? Would my son be a deacon today? Would my daughter be a worship person on a worship team today? If I chose that, because we're the men. We're the men that our family stands on, and we're the men that God stands on Jesus with the cornerstone. Remember that now. He's the cornerstone. If we step on Jesus, we can't fall. I never had Jesus. I had Dobie.
Yeah.
Right? The concrete slab that we have that our children can step on, it needs to be solid. The only way it's going to be solid is if we, as men and as fathers, can stand on Jesus.
Now, in our show's title, Next Generation,
yes,
you just said something that just absolutely shook my world. And those of you that are watching, you're a first generation
yes,
Pentecostal
yes,
preacher,
yes,
right? First generation. We're talking to the next generation. And you've been saved 7 years.
yes, sir.
And now it's not just you're saved, your wife's saved.
Yes.
You're doing all the stuff you talked to us about at the
Yes.
start of the show. Your son's a deacon. Your daughter's a worship leader.
Yes.
And literally, we're looking, and we can tell this show, and everybody watching now, no matter what you've done in your life and how far you've gone,
Yes.
you can change the course of your life.
Yes.
And well, let me rephrase that. Through Jesus, you can change the course of your life.
Jesus.
We can't do it.
Yes.
But through Jesus, and it's amazing. And I tell you what, this is just unbelievable. So, talk to us about, and I know it's been, you've been saved 7 years. In those 7, you've struggled at times, probably.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the devil's come to you, boy, you need to come me back, or and probably thoughts of, hey, there's that lady. Right? But who have you looked to? Is there people in your life that have been either mentors or somebody that you just lean on through the hard times? Talk to us about your influence.
Yeah. Influence after I got saved?
Yes. And you can talk before too.
Oh, well, let me start with before, because I believe that it plays a big part in your life, even when you get saved.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's called morals, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was my grandfather. He was a hardworking man, and I believe that's how I got my life of being a hardworking person.
Right.
So even though I wasn't saved at that time, everything to me was, in order to eat, you gotta go to work.
Right.
That was always pushed in my head, and I gave that to my son also. So if I can speak to anybody out there, if you don't have a job or if you don't have anything that you're doing with your life with right now, go to work, get stable, take care of your family, do it through Jesus, and it'll happen. I remember there was a time when I didn't have work. After I got saved, I always had work when I wasn't saved.
Yeah.
When I wasn't saved. I had the greatest paid jobs when I wasn't saved. As soon as I got saved and I gave up my company and I had nothing, I remember my church, so my senior pastor asked me if I wanted to work at a transitional place as a security guard. I never worked as a security guard in my life. So I remember sitting down at the post, and there was times when I stared out the window and I told myself, like, what am I doing here? Making this least of money as a security guard. What am I doing here? I can be out there making more money, you know. Whenever I think like that, God always brings somebody that I can minister to, and always reminds me why I'm there. Why am I there? I believe there was training grounds for do what I'm doing today.
Right.
Training grounds to minister to somebody and let them know how good God is. It was a transitional home. People come off the streets, need a place to live. I get time to pray with them. It was a blessing over there. It was a blessing. You know, so that was a hard time in my life because of money.
Right.
You know, I wasn't making the kind of money that I was making and stuff. It was really, really hard, you know. But I remember there wasn't a time that my bills wasn't paid. There wasn't a time that I never had gas in my car. There wasn't a time that my family didn't have food on the table to eat. There wasn't a time that my icebox was empty. God always provided, even at my least in my pocket. God always provided for us.
Wow.
Now, I came from a place of making, my first year in business, I made $1.8 million.
Wow.
By the peak of my business, I was making $4.5 million a year. Now, from that type of money to the money that I earned as a security guard, it was hurting to me as a man. But it gave me growth as a father to work hard for the money.
Yeah.
To work hard for your money. It gave me growth as a dad.
Yes.
Appreciating the money that I'm bringing home. Appreciating the bread that I'm bringing on my table.
Yeah.
Honest living.
Wow.
He gave me that, you know. So I'm thankful for, you know, my grandfather giving me that influence before I was saved. Now, when I got saved, I'm so thankful to my bishop, Swallow Tupua, from Waianae. In the world, before I was saved, I could never submit to any man in the world. No man. I will never submit unto him. But when the Lord saved me that day in that Pentecostal church that day, the Lord quickly made me submit under my pastor. Submit under your pastor.
Absolutely.
Submit under your pastor. No matter what it takes, humility, work, even if your pastor scolds you, yells at you, that's all growth.
Yeah.
But it will definitely make you grow in the Lord, you know. It will make you a different man. It will change the course of your road that you were on. You know, so I had to submit. God submitted me under my pastor. And, you know, when we first got saved, me and my son, my wife, my daughter was still young at the time, but we started to work around the church. And because we had skills, right? So every time we worked around the church from morning to evening, we didn't want to go home. We felt so safe there. We felt safe on the church property. It was a holy grounds, man. You know, every time we was to leave, it would be like 11, 10, 10:30 at night. Because we didn't want to leave. We just wanted to continue just working because we felt so safe, you know. But the Lord did that for us for at least a year. You know. I remember going out in the community, and so I see some more people every day. But I remember going out in the community one particular day, and this one person told me, "Hey, Brother Jay, I haven't seen you maybe for a year, but I see you here every day, but I don't talk to him." But that showed me that how much the Lord has kept me, hid me in His bosom, you know, protected me, protected my family, you know, for somebody not to see me visually, but I see Him, you know. So we started to come out of the, you know, well, I started to come out of my what I thought was hiding, and you know, and stuff like that. And I needed to have some time where the Lord needed to fix me, because I wasn't going to go to my family unfixed. Right. I needed to get fixed up, but I'm so thankful that He fixed us all together. You know.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And through all that, and if you don't want to get into this, you don't have to.
No, that's right.
But through what you went through with the loss of the business and for salvation and everything, you said you'd face charges. The Lord obviously got you out of all that.
Hallelujah.
And so you didn't have to, I mean...
Yeah. You know, before the first time and stuff, I know it was the Lord had his hands on it, although I sent some guys over there to, you know, have them drop the charges and stuff, and I was putting a little bit of time. And then they dropped all the charges, and I came out and stuff. But Brian, I want to touch on this. I think this is very important for some of those people out there, for somebody out there that's listening.
Absolutely.
God said in His Word, and I felt it, man. If I cannot forgive, He's not going to forgive me. You know, and I've been doing all of His work. I believe at that time I was, I think, a deacon in a church, and I really was ministering to people and making sure I'm at church early before the pastor comes. I'm doing all of this and doing all of this. And if I don't forgive, all of that is for nothing.
Right.
And the Lord told me that, you know, it's for nothing if you can't forgive somebody.
That's true.
And it took me the hardest thing, forgive the person that I wanted to kill.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So we went one day, you know, I just woke up one morning and I remember yelling in my home and telling my wife, wake up, telling my son, wake up, and they got up and they was like, what's going on? I said, I gotta go and forgive this person, and they looked at me like, I don't think you're ready. But I remember the Lord touching me that morning and said, yes, you're ready, and my family was like, you ain't ready. And it was like maybe I think 2 years in of being saved, and I remember my senior pastor was off on a trip at Philippines, and my wife had to call him and said, my husband's thinking about going over there and ask for forgiveness, but I don't think he's ready. So my pastor prayed and assured my wife that he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
And we drove up to their home, you know. We drove up to their home, and I remember pulling up in front of their driveway, and I could see the silhouette through the curtains that somebody was moving and looking out the window, and I kept calling for that person and they wouldn't come out, you know. And it was I started crying actually, because I wanted them to know that I'm not the same guy that wanted to kill you. You know, I wanna forgive you. I wanna ask you to forgive me. You know, and I remember talking to God outside of my car when my wife was on the phone with my senior pastor. And I remember saying that, God, if it was you this morning, I know you're going to make a way. I know you're going to bring them out here, and it's going to be because it's you, God. I know it's you. And they wouldn't come out. And it really got to me, man. You know, so my wife was like, let's just go. They might call the cops. And they don't really know that I'm here to forgive them. So we went down the road for a while and came back, and I did the same thing, and they wouldn't come out. So maybe an hour later, we got some lunch, and we passed by their office, and lo and behold, there was her car. And I remember telling my wife, stop. Her vehicle is at her office. So we stopped at her office, and my wife told me, she grabbed my hand before I got out of the car, and she told me, you sure you're ready? I said, I'm ready. It was like something heavy on me that had to take it off, man. You know what I mean? I had to just drop it. You know, I told my wife, I'm ready. Opened the door, and I remember, and it was tax season, and this office usually it's packed during tax season, right? And I remember walking in, and it was on a desk like this, that she was sitting, and her head was down, because she knew I was at her house, right? So she knew I'm looking for her. She didn't know that I want to ask for forgiveness. But she was sitting down on her desk, and her head was down, and I remember walking through the door, and she looked up at me, and she had this very scary look, like, oh my God, is he coming to finish me off? And I felt bad walking to her. But I walked to her, and her head was still down. I remember grabbing her and holding her and just telling her how much I love her, and I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I'm so sorry for doing what I was doing, and what I wanted to do to you and your family.
And you asked forgiveness.
I did ask her for forgive me.
And that's an amazing story.
You know what, Brian? What is the more awesome part? That I thought it was about me releasing the forgiveness, and God had His hands on me back then, but God gave them grace, because today they're saved, man.
They are.
Today
Praise God.
Saved, hallelujah.
That is so. The Lord turned the entire situation around. That is just, it's amazing. Now, just not knowing. Have you ever had the privilege to be in church with them?
No.
No. I mean, that would be...
It came to a point, you know, and I know I really want to give God the glory, but it came to one point where inside of me, I know it's always the Holy Ghost when it tugs on me, you know. It tugs on me because I was fighting in my mind, you know, and wrestling with God in my mind, and I do want to go over there, but I don't know how, you know, and this and that, and the Lord said, you did what you did already, it's fine, move on.
And that's it.
Move on, you know, and that gave me the confidence to just say hi when I see them on the road.
Yep.
I don't have to sit down and swap spit with you, you know.
Exactly. But you know the great thing? One day, you'll get to inherit heaven together.
Hallelujah.
And that's going to be worth it all, right?
Better be ready, oh, amen.
My Lord. And the people that have watched the formats here, we just threw the questions out because this brother has just, he's seen a few of the interviews, and we just covered it all. We're just having a great time in the Lord here today. But I just want to say thank you for the forgiveness that I feel from you, right? Because, you know, and there's going to be people that are watching right now, right? And they're looking, and they're watching this video, and they are struggling with forgiveness.
Yes.
And there's people that's watching this show, and they're sitting down there, and they're like, you know, how do I forgive? How can I get through that? And I'm here to tell you that if Minister Jay can go through, I won't make $4.5 million in my life, you know, and that's what his company made in 1 year. And to lose that and to face what you faced and then get saved and turn your life around and be willing to give it all up, not just being saved, but Lord, I'll wash myself of it, and leading all the way to forgiveness. Powerful story, powerful story. Is there anything else you want to tell me? I mean, I'm just turning the floor to you, and because we're going to talk to the next generation here in a minute, but I'm drawing so much from this. I want you to...
Well, I surely don't want to leave my wife out of this. Men out there, our wives is a very, very important part in our lives, and I want you guys to understand that. Love your wives, you know. My wife been through it with me with the story I just shared with our testimony, and I believe any wife that doesn't fear God would have probably left throughout all of that stuff. And if you find a wife that does not leave you throughout all of that mess that you're dealing with right now, if you're on drugs, if you're on alcohol, and whenever you come home and you still have that hot meal, and you still have that hot shower, and you still wake up, and she gets your clothes ready, and she gets your lunch ready, and she does all of that for you, you better tell her that you love her.
Yes.
You better tell her that you appreciate her. It's so easy to wake up in the morning and tell a neighbor, good morning, Todd, but you can't even tell your wife good morning. Or you can't even tell your kids I love you. But it's easy to tell a stranger that you love her or you love them. So it's very important to let our wives know how important they are. And I'm so thankful for my wife for being throughout all of that with me. So thankful for her today that she is saved, and she's also a praying woman of God, and she gets me in my straight and narrows when I'm going off, and she's my partner, you know. I just shared with my bishop, if I want to talk to some of you guys who's in ministry, and I have a lot of stuff on your plate, like I do. And my wife was in a lot of ministries too, and I just recently asked my senior pastor to remove my wife from those ministries. So I think very important here, guys, you guys need to listen. I asked my senior pastor to remove her from those ministries, because I believe that the Lord gave us help me. With all the things that we have as ministers and as pastors, your wife should be next to you. Wherever you go, don't let nothing get between you and your wife and your relationship. Don't let anything come here. Don't take a friend with you and minister to somebody. Take your wife. Don't take someone with you and go and pray for a house. Take your wife. Because she'll be at home with you and she'll be with your kids. So take your wife home. So I want to leave that with you, that just take care of your family. Love your wife as Jesus loved his church. Love your family and your kids. Hug them once in a while. Just let them know how much you love them, because they're relying on us, guys. Men, I'm talking to men out there, they're relying on us. They're relying not only to go out there and get some money and get some food, they're also relying on us to stand on God. We're the examples here. We need to do that. Amen.
So what would you leave, in the show we always talk to the next generation, what would you leave with them? Like, is there something the Lord's dealing with you about, maybe words you want to leave, or what would you leave generations to come?
I want to say something real simple. I heard someone say this, and I think it's very important. It's just really very simple. I don't know if you all remember a Pledge of Allegiance, right? I remember this one pastor talking about, he had a person who was 50 years old, a person who was 30, a person who was 20, and a person who was 10. And he started off with the oldest person, and he asked him to do a Pledge of Allegiance of the flag of the United States of America, right? And by the time he got to the person who was 20, he couldn't say it. By the time he went to the person who was 10 years old, he didn't even know what it was. Imagine if God's word was like that. It would never get to the next generation. We need to let our kids know who is Jesus. We need to let our kids know who saved you. We need to let our kids know that Jesus is alive. We need to let our kids know that the blood. We need to let them know that so that it can get to that 20-year-old and it can get down to that 10-year-old. Because it's like a Pledge of Allegiance, it does not get down to them, guys. Imagine if that was the word of God. It will never get down. Love your family. Let them know everything about Jesus. Hallelujah.
So powerful. That's a great story.
Amen.
Listen, empty your bottle. Empty your bottle.
Hallelujah.
And this will not be our last time we visit.
Yes.
And I tell you what, my soul, my spirit has been touched. And I want to thank you for stopping by, being with us today, Next Generation.
I appreciate it.
God bless you. Keep up the great work.
Bye.